That's fine. That's okay. That's cool, mate.
Right,
Honestly, but what?
Yeah.
Right, you like folks. There's these things there. Scrappy, going to go here and I'll share it.
Right, Carl, we're on tonight. Can you give your credentials who you are, Carl, just for the people back home?
Okay, my name's Carl Durant. I'm from a place called Jarrow in Tainui. Yeah.
What do you do with what type of martial arts do you? Can you just let people know? Because even I was a bit stunned when you told me.
Yeah. People always are. It's either Jun Fang or Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune.
Right. What does that mean? Then is Bruce? Obviously, Bruce Lee was the best kung fu of all time. I remember he went to America and they didn't like it, did they? So they brought some Chinese bloke up to have a fight with him. I don't know if this is true. And he had a fight and he was winning, and the lad broke his back, and he actually ended up being in a cage for 2 years, I believe. Bruce Lee, and he couldn't walk. Yeah.
Yes, but the part of that was he didn't hurt his back in the fight. He actually hurt his back lifting weights, and it was all big up, part of the legend. We can't have that, and he did beat the guy, and he did beat the guy and earn the right to teach whoever he wanted. That was all about, because he just wanted to teach Chinese. They were very racist. There was a lot of, a Chinese, not a Chinaman's chance. Have you heard that one?
No. But I do believe his dad was American, wasn't he? And that's why there was so much conflict with him, because he was half Chinese and half American.
That's right. There was just so much the mixed breed thing. I mean, we're going back to 50s, 40s, things like that. Where it was very ignorant and very just I would also say like a dictatorship. The way they went on, all this these horrible things were going on about what the color of your skin and who you are. But here's the thing: at the time, these racist people were being racist to them, but cheering for the biggest boxer at the time, who was coloured in any way. So, work logic like that, things out. It doesn't compute. It's ignorance.
So, where were you born then?
I was born in Newcastle at Princess Mary's.
Right. Where did you live?
Then I lived in Jarrow. Like I say, I'm born and bred. I'm still living here. I'm still living on the same estate I grew up on.
What was it? I remember being a kid myself. It was you were brought up the same as me. My manners. Your mum, somebody would say, "I'm going to tell your dad." You'd go, "Oh shit, must be dad." You'd be scared to go home because you get a good hand off your dad, or you'd be say like the old beat Bobby would come round, the policeman go, "Get home, I'll tell your dad," and you think, "Oh, so yes sir, no sir," and you'd be off. You wouldn't dare swear at them. Now there seems to be no respect whatsoever with kids now. They've got the manners seems to have gone.
It's terrible. To be honest with you, more than most, it's this gang mentality, and it's this. There's no old ways of let's shake hands, let's have a pint, or whatever. Or all of that is gone. That's so sly, and there's so much drugs and corruption going on. It's just unbelievable. This world that the government portray doesn't exist. It's just a big, massive dream, isn't it? Really, in reality.
They put on the news what they want you to believe. They put on there to skate over it, don't they? To skate around the houses. But really, the knife crime is the worst in Teesside. Is the worst in Great Britain per person. It's been come out the other day. There's every I think it's 3 every other day getting stabbed in Teesside, and it's only a small place compared to like Newcastle and Sunderland and Liverpool and Manchester. So you imagine how big it is there. But they'll put a blanket over it, Carl, so you can't see what's going on. The police and the government don't want people to know how horrific it is.
Of course, you've got the young kids who just don't even know what the consequences are picking a knife up. And of course, it's the easy way out. I don't condone it in any way, shape, or form. I can understand how a person could be driven to that, though.
And probably threatening them as well to do it. And they're only like 12. We've just had a kid the other day, Preston Park, it was, so somewhere around here with a machete. Now I'm trying to get a ban on machetes because I think to myself, why do we need machetes in this country? We don't have banana trees to cut them down. We don't have sugarcane. We don't have jungles. So why do we need machetes? They should be banned right across the board. And the people who are using them are people who use them for weapons, or to threaten people, or rob people in the streets, or rob people in garages and places like that. As you know, Carl, even where you're from, it's terrible, isn't it? Knife crime now.
It's disgusting. I mean, these machetes and everything. There's no limits online to where they'll go now. If they want to go and commit a crime against an old person, it's a big knife. If they're going to go or even if you've been on a drink on a night out and you've been filled in, right, but not too bad, right? You know, it happens. Okay, every single night. Yeah, it's too easy for them. They'll wake up next day and think, right, I'm going to go get a big knife or posse up and go and well, but it was probably the aggressor's fault in the first place. You know, he's probably picked on the wrong one or done the wrong thing or whatever. But it's too easy now for them to just go back and all their mates, they're all on the Charlie and drugs.
Yeah, I was speaking to some quite high officials about the anti-knife and about the anti-machete. I said, the knife's bad, but the machete is ridiculous. There's only for one reason, it's there to intimidate people. And there's most kids are between 15 and 25 have got them on the walls in the bedrooms in the house. So why would you have that on the wall there? The first thing they do, you just hit the nail on the head. As soon as I get a good hiding, I'm going to get my machete straight out with the machete, chop somebody up with it. And the chances of killing somebody with that is exponential. If you get stabbed, it's bad. So we have to get these machetes took down. I think what they should do, they should be given an instant jail sentence if you get caught with one. No, you get arrested and you go straight to jail. They do, I think it's somewhere like Sweden or Switzerland. And what they do there is anyone caught drink driving is classed as classed as a weapon you've got then because you're drinking, you're impaired. So they get arrested that night and they go straight to jail. They don't get a trial or anything because the alcohol's in your system. You can't say you're not guilty when it's in your system. So they put them straight in jail and it's working over there. It's a lot that stopped there. It's cut it by half, the drink driving. So I think things like that, it's more deterrent. There's no deterrent in this country. That's what it is.
There isn't, and on the other point as well, that some of them are not even prepared to face the consequences of their own doing. They'd rather blame somebody else, or it's because of this, or it's because of mental health. Not that I'm getting at people with mental health. You know what I mean. It's always some kind of crutch to get away with their own way of doing things. Now, you can say it can come up from upbringing. Yes, it can, but it's quite easy for the goodest lad to turn wrong and go down that path. It's looking up to the bigger ones with Mercedes and the gold chains and I want to be like him. Not even thinking one time, well, hold on, this guy's got to sleep with one of them with right pillar every single night. He's surrounded by all sorts of carry on. They just don't get it.
Like I did, Carl, you go to bed going, you're having to get guns because they've got guns. You're having to get, because when you get in that world, you don't realise until you get in it and you're in it, you've got to have the same weapons as them and you're going to get killed. You can't go to a gunfight with a knife. And that's what it was like. I couldn't sleep in the same house when I was selling drugs and doing it because there was that many people. I was taxing drug dealers, as you know. I've been stabbed, shot at bars, stabbed all over, nearly killed it how many times. I'm just lucky. I've changed my life around now. I'm helping people like yourself. But how did you get in the? Did you get bullied at school? What was it like at school?
Right, because of me, I wouldn't say bullied because there was four all hung together, four lads all sort of hung together, you know. But I wasn't bullied, but I was certainly meant to feel different. So it was like more of a mental thing rather than sort of a physical thing.
You know, like, for the people at home so they know.
Pardon?
What was wrong with your arm? What was the injury?
It was called, through Erb's palsy, all the tendons got twisted.
Right.
So I had really limited. I had about 20% mobility in that arm. And then I had one good arm.
It's like me, that. Yeah. It's straight, isn't it?
Yeah, so, you know, I thought I'm going to work on it and I'm going to do it. And the last time I went to the doctors, I had 80% mobility in the left and 90 on the right. So that's not bad, is it? From 20%, you know, just getting it up there, you know.
Is that your mentality works? You like me saying, a doctor will say to me, when I was paralysed, I said, "Oh, you're paralysed, you won't walk now." I went, "Fuck you." Sorry for swearing, folks, but I thought, get up and walk. And Jesus was saying, "You can walk. Get up, get up." And I got off the bed and I walked about 6 paces. And they went, "Get back in bed." They were screaming at me, but I couldn't sleep, Carl, knowing in my head, I'm paralysed. 2 hours I was saying that. I got off the bed and I walked. I thought, and then I went back to bed and I thought, I'm not paralysed. But it's been hard, so I know you to get what you've got to. I want to get to where you are now because I've got the same. I've got about 20% in each hand. I couldn't even open the bottle of pop 3 weeks ago. Now today, the first day I opened the bottle of pop, so I've achieved something. So I've pushed myself slowly, but as you know, with nerves and damage, things like that takes a long time, doesn't it, Carl, to come back?
It takes a long time. It takes a lot of rehab. Mentally first, I think, and then physically, because as you know, the body will always follow the mind. But if it's not in here, giving up has never been in my vocabulary, no matter what I've done. Even, you know, right down to brass tacks, you know, little things, you know. You see, because of the way I was treated at school, made it more of an introvert rather than an extrovert. I wasn't included in football, you know, and things like that. I don't like football anyway, so that doesn't matter. But that's not the point. I'd still like to be, you know, included in the game, just to give a kick of the ball, mate, you know, sort of thing. So to have that mindset, I wouldn't say we're born with it, but it's definitely through upbringing. You learn it through your parents. When you're a kid, you're very alert, and you're always taking in how your mom and your dad are dealing with the situations, you know, like deaths in the family, you know, and things like that. And it's not until you get older you realize they're the ones that have taught you how to deal with these situations. Like, in the first place.
Yeah, Sigmund Freud said, you always revert back to when you were a child. Whatever's happened to you as a child, that comes with you. So when you get older, it affects you. Things can happen to you as a kid, and you can. But things happen to me, things happen to you. But didn't mean to say we have to be assholes and be bullies and things like that. So you get people. When did you get into the training? What was the catalyst for you? Where you think, oh, I want to be like Bruce Lee, or I want to train like that. When did that start?
Right. Okay. I remember I was 5 years old. This is vivid, and I've seen Enter the Dragon for the first time. Okay, and I remember when it ended, I was frightened, and I didn't realize what the fear was because I was only 5, you know. And then I got older, and then my dad got us into judo, because straight away the first words I said is, I want to do that. I want to be like him. Of course, you know, you see this guy just exploding all over the place. There was nothing like it. It was, you know, oh my God. So I got into judo, and because what he was doing wasn't around, it wasn't over here, you know. So judo, and then after that a little bit karate, and then I got into Wing Chun after that, and I stopped when I was about 17. You know, I wanted to have a life. I'd grew up, I'd done school, you know, things like that. And all these.
Just stop. Yeah, how long did you train, Cal, before you stopped training? If you know what I mean? When you said, so from 5-year-old, you trained. What did you? How long did you train for before you thought I'm gonna have a life here, and then changed a bit?
Yeah, so judo till I was from 5 till about 10. Right. Karate from about 10 till about 13, 14.
Right.
And then I found the Wing Chun. Even very early on, I was always looking for the more effective system.
What is the Wing Chun? I'm not sure. I don't know what that is.
Wing Chun is it's a Chinese martial art. It was invented by a nun who named it after her first student. So it's Wing Chun. It's a very efficient system. But again, it doesn't hold all the answers. And it's these days, it's very ineffective now because you've got more powerful martial arts that's come through. And I've seen many different things over the years, and I've seen a street fighter just wipe Wing Chun guys out because they've got to be in a certain range, they've got to be in a certain place, and they're stuck and they can't move, where a boxer's just going to dance around them. You know, brass tacks, you know, you can't have.
My friend Bob Cumber, he's not with us no more. Passed away. He was a seven Dan Mark Kung karate expert, and he used to say when he used to do my back and fix it in for me. And he said, "You're that big. No matter how much kung fu you do, once you grab hold of them, they can't bend your arms out." He said, "The fuck's really." He said, "So it would be hard to beat you in a fight unless somebody was the same type of weight or strength as you, because no matter what boxing skills you've got, once you grab hold of them in wrestling, it's very hard to get them off you, isn't it? When you're 24 stone and the weights I was lifting, that's a lot of my fights won because I was really strong, but I learned boxing as well. So I think Ernie Buick used to say, my friend from Sunderland, and Ian Freeman, you know, Ian Donia, he was the world champion mixed martial arts. Great lad. You have to mix it up. My other friend Bram, he coached Bram Chris Crossan. He's got his own gym in Stockton, trains the kids, but he trains the kids not to go there to have fights. He trains them to look after themselves and give them mental attitude better.
It can do lots of things. It can make you feel very solid in yourself. I'm going to touch on why that's a good thing and a bad thing later on.
Right.
So after the Wing Chun, like, I had a break, and then I was 27. And I was walking through Jarrow Arcade. It's like a row of shops, and I seen this poster on the wall: "Come and learn the most effective form of fighting around. Formlessness, introducing to the Northeast Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune." I thought, I'm having some of that. I've been looking for this for so many years, you know.
Right.
So I phoned the guy up, and I started the class. And honest to God, Brian, right, I'd been around, and The first thing he's shown, I'd seen nothing like it before. I was just blown away by the speed, the power, you know, the elusiveness of the art, you know. And I've never looked back. I've never stopped. I had 100% attendance record all the way along, never missed a lesson. On and on. We covered all sorts from all sorts of arts. We trained at full contact. Then it went at full contact bare knuckle because realistic training procedures and everything must be pressure tested. Otherwise, there's no use learning a technique and think, oh, I'm going to pressure test it in my first street fight. You're going to get a good hiding, you know. And this is why I'm touching on some of the things that I taught today. It's not applicable. It's techniques from thousands of years ago, which aren't applicable now. Why aren't they teaching how to take a machete? Why aren't they teaching how to do these things with knives? Why? No, because no one wants to touch it because it's a very grey area, and that they haven't got the knowledge or skills to put it across. You know. Yeah.
Well, the thing is, like medicine, innit? You wouldn't use medicine from 2,000 years ago when you can have 21st century medicine. So fighting's the same, and it has to go forward. It's like bodybuilders have got better. It's like runners get better. Everything has to get better because if we learn more from the past, don't we? So we don't want to do the same mistakes. But I know what you're saying. You could have like a top boxer, and you try to box him, and you can't box. You're going to get beat. But if you grab hold of him, pull him down, wrestle him, and you're bigger and stronger, and any build always used to say, "The good big and will always beat a good little," and his dad used to say that, which is true, isn't it? You know, that's why we have weight categories in boxing and karate and everything.
Absolutely. Like I say, the way that we train, we'll train an excessive person. So if he puts his hand up and show me that he's a boxer, I'm going to use my feet to break the legs and then take him to the floor. I'm not going to step into his range because I'm not a boxer. I can box now. I've learned these martial arts, but his attack is my opportunity. You know, so he's giving me. But you must train and put your head guard on and train to see the blows coming before you can do anything, before you can act. You know, that's it. And even if you get hit, you've got to learn to take a hit and keep going. Because if you want to do a sport and have nice, pretty little belts and a nice white suit, right, and have an achievement in all your qualifications, that's great. But if you're fighting to save your life, you better train, man. You know, you better train as if you're fighting for your life every single time.
It's like boxers, any sport. We've got Savannah Marshall. She's fighting on Saturday, and good luck to her. She's a fantastic girl. She trains. They don't drink. They have very rare. They have days off. They don't smoke. So when you're doing that, it's like when I was training for the fights, and I'd be doing. I think, well, I can outbox him, but he's a bit too strong for me. So I got stronger, and then I do something else. And like you said, you just go up the rapid fire thing, and well, I can wrestle as well now. Learn bits of wrestling and holds and stuff like that, and judo holds and stuff like that. So you can use that against someone who's inexperienced. If I was fighting a pro boxer, I'm not going to stand there like I'm in a ring with someone and let him punch the head off me. I'm going to think, right, I'm going to take it to you. You're not bringing it to me. So you've got to change your style of fighting for different fights. Every fight's different. 1 minute you'll be fighting from one punch. Next minute you might be fighting somebody 30 foot. You're dancing around you and jabbing, moving, and you try to keep up with them. But when you're 24 stone, it's great if you get hold of them, Carl. But if you can't get hold of them, you get out of gas. So there's so much you've got there. Everything's different. Every fight's a game of chess.
Yes, absolutely. I mean, a bigger person, I'm going to try and wear him out. I want all the oxygen to fill his muscles up. I want all the strain on his body to go. And I think, right, now is my chance. But all the time thinking, how can I get out of this? Do I really want to, you know, still right up to the last second, do I really want to do this? Because it's hard now to sound about Jeet Kune Do with sounding egotistical, but I'm not. The way I've trained, if I get to touch in any way, shape, or form, it's over because I'm trained to crush the larynx. I'm trained to take the eye. I'm trained to break the knee. Entry and engagement is foresight because you've only got one crack at it. You know, and I'm not saying that I am. This is the one to beat every person in the world. It's up to the individual because Jeet Kune Do. What my Jeet Kune Do is, my students is totally different because I don't want a carbon copy of me. I want him to express himself because if you can't express yourself through combative movement, you're not free in it. You're still limited and chained up because if someone tries to, I'm not copying Bruce Lee. I don't make the noises. All I've done is trained with his concepts, you know, and took what's useful for me. and trained in and threw away what's not. And I've had the super instructors and personal tuition all along the way to do it, you know. And it, to me, it's not about being the best or being better than anybody else. I want to be the best I can be for me.
I want to 100%. Let's be the best version of what you can be, not what Arnold be. I want to be Arnold Schwarzenegger. I want to be. You can't all be Arnold Schwarzenegger. You can't all be Bruce Lee. So you have to be the best. If you're 10 stone and you get to 14 stone, you're looking great. You've got a six-pack and everything. You've achieved something. So be the best you can. You're never ever going to all be Mr. Olympians, because you could train 7 days a week, 10 times a day, and you're not going to achieve it because you need genetics as well.
And well, it's just like you said, it's media fed. They only see what you want to see. I mean, like you probably see. Remember seeing Terminator for the first time, and that shot where he stands up and he walks. You look at him thinking, what? How? There's got to be CGI, but hold on, there was no CGI in the 80s. You know, it was all what you seen was what you get. You know, and you look at the physique, you know, and then you look at Lou Ferrigno. You know, in competition, you think, well, how did he win? Because Lou Ferrigno's looking good as well, mind. You know, and just these little things of what you do, and it's good to have these people to look up to, because to be something like that, or to have you've got you can't choose inspiration. Whatever click you on to it is your hook, if you like, to get you going. You know, but not finding the right path can also lead to the dark side as well, out of frustration or anger. And if you want to be something like that and you're not, you're going to be too hard on yourself, thinking, well, why aren't I like that yet? But the truth is, you're never going to be like that. You know, the more you try to be like someone, the further away that you go. You know, there's just no way.
That's it. Yeah, the thing is, if you're setting these goals, people go, I want to bench 500 pounds. But you're not got, you're 10 stone, you're 5'4", you're never going to bench 10 to 500 pounds. Impossibility. So I always say to people when I train them on the weights or whatever, I've trained them in boxing, I train them, Carl, like, so they'll bench a nice comfortable weight so they get 10 reps, and 3 sets of 10 go for, get to the third set and go just for, get the 7 reps and get 3 touches. Once you get 10 reps on that, then go up 2.5 key chain. Even if you end up a key a month, by the end of the year, your bench has got up really good. But people, I'm going to take steroids, I'll get bigger. No, they don't. It doesn't work like that. You take steroids, it stunts your growth. That's why there's so many small bodybuilders that take the steroids first, and then they get the size off them, but they don't grow. Stunts the growth. And also, you would get that natural with your natural testosterone. And once you take the artificial ones, you get 30 pounds of muscle, but it all falls back off you in a few months. So when you get it natural, it stays on your physique.
I don't promote steroids at all. I know people use them, and I understand the reasons why. And, you know, I always drummed into my students, look, at the end of the day, right, you can be big and you can look good and you can look cool and you can get the girls, or you can go and get the tan, you know, the way it's all done. You can wear your big gold chain and do whatever you're doing. But the damage on the inside, man, is just unbelievable, you know. And
31 died last year of steroid abuse, 31 bodybuilders. Yeah,
it's really scary.
Who trained you then to get to? How did you get to? Do you have to pass courses and stuff to be a training instructor?
Right, in the Jeet Kune, what we did, right, we went through all. You start off with an emptiness badge,
right,
and then you finish with the emptiness badge. There's no belts. There's no. Right. It's like boxing in a way, you know. Right. It's ranked like that, because to have a ranking system is totally against what it is, because belts don't mean anything, mate. I'm sorry, they really don't. You know, a black belt in this, I mean, I know karate schools or schools where if you go for 4 years, whether if you don't pass a grade and you get an honorary black belt, how does that work if you haven't got the skills? Or there's schools where if you do your grading, you pay 20 quid, you pass your belt no matter what. You know,
that's like being a cordon bleu chef and can't cook.
Exactly. Same thing. And if you go around saying that you're this and that and promote yourself, you're going to get tested, man. Someone's going to, you know, someone's going to think, all right, Izzy, let me see, you know, whoever it is, you know. Staying away from all that sort of dark side in life, so it's been hard. You know, it's too easy to jump into things and think, even situations, or but then you get your pals, so you think your pals, and then they're in trouble. They're like, oh, call, blah, 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 I'm getting filled in. Can you come and help us? I'm like, hold on. I haven't spoken to you for 2 years. You haven't even sent us a message saying how you're doing. But you want me to come and prevent some kind of trouble like you've been doing. So it's not me the want. It's called, this, that, and that's not what it's for. I think it's too mistaken, and it's really sometimes really abused. And the message isn't clear these days of what martial arts is. MMA is great, but I think it promotes the wrong message because of the brutality of the sport. Even boxing these days. I think I seen something that the other day that Tyson Fury's gonna retire now.
Right.
And he hit the nail on the head because he doesn't want to end up like a cabbage. So all these violent blows to the head, and it looks good on film, but the devastation to the body and what you can do it's no good.
Especially if you're fighting someone that weight, because people don't realise when you just punch a bag like that, you just arm strength. There's nothing there. But when your hips come in and your legs and you throw the punch, they're throwing 15 stone, and it's that 15 stones coming out of that fist on you. And when they're hitting you, they could bust your spleen or anything. So later on in life, Muhammad Ali, he got all them hits, so Rumble in the Jungle and all that. I believe that's how he got Parkinson's disease. And the thing is, they did a study in America. There was American footballers, American football, when they were getting just banged into each other, they were cracking up and they were killing the wives and fighting with the wives and all mad things. And they found out, this doctor, it was the blow. Every time your head's hit, you get brain damage. Every time you get a bang or your head bangs on the wall or anything, you get brain damage. And he proved that to these American football teams. I can't remember his name now, but I think I can't remember, it was like Will Smith or somebody who played the part. And it was a fantastic film, but it shows you every time you get punched or you head footballs and that, you get brain damage off them.
Of course, it's brain trauma, cerebral hematomas and things like that. It's absolutely disgusting, But just like you said, even 15 stone is enough to kill a man outright.
Yeah.
It doesn't take much for one punch. That's before his head might hit the curb on the way down. I
know at least 30 lads who threw one punch. One lad did it twice. He hit the lad and he snapped a little something in the neck. One in a million chance, and he did two. Got 5 years for one, 5 years for the other one. And he did that. He was only out about 6 weeks, and he did two. So it's only that punch. You can kill someone so easy with a punch, and you go to jail now for manslaughter.
Oh, it's a terrible thing. I mean, 2 people have lost, and a lot of lives has been affected both times. I'm sure the lad didn't mean to kill them with one blow. That's exactly. That's just how he fights. It was probably self-defense. I don't know the kid, but it's not certainly my intention. Even in self-defense, or
stop the family of that, the father, the kids, and everything not having a father, the wife not having a husband, the mum and the dad not having a son. They've gone over a stupid fight in a bar with one punch, and it's sad, isn't it, to see that when you're younger, you think it's great fighting. You know, I'll beat him. Now I'm older, you think it's not the right thing. I like to teach kids not to fight, defend yourself, like Bram teaches the kids to learn to defend yourself. Martial arts, whatever they're doing, he does wrestling. Him legit pro wrestling. He's got his gym, and he teaches the kids. And he won't have any bullying in there, and he won't have the kids training to beat people up. If he finds out they're going around fighting people through his martial arts, he's banned them from the gym. It's a great way. I suppose you'd be the same, Carl.
Absolutely brilliant. I tell my students right from the start, with great power, just to quote Spider-Man, comes great responsibility. And just because you trained in something as well, it doesn't make you Superman. I can still be sucker punched from behind when I'm at the bar. I haven't got superpowers where I can see it coming, or all these ninja skills that don't exist. And it's like you said, people are killing people and over a drunken argument. But probably the next day when you're sober, it wouldn't have mattered. There would have been no argument in the first place. So the reasons people get into altercations and fighting, yes, it's drink fueled and it's drug fueled or whatever. But there's really no need to go that far. And just because you can't fight doesn't mean to say you have to. It's not like I say. You train, and you should train for yourself, for your own development, for your own, not to go and hurt people, not to abuse what's being taught, because that's just it. You don't see professional boxers just go punching people.
I'm just going to say, Muhammad Ali punching someone in the street, or Smokey Joe Fraser or something like that, because they're classed as lethal weapons as well. That's the thing with yourself. Your hands are classed as lethal weapons, same as Bram, and you go to court. You go up, you're looking at 5 years, they're saying, no, this man's trained in martial art, blah, blah, blah. All that comes against you when you say, when I trained the box and all that stuff. So when you go up, you're not just a normal man, your hands are lethal weapons, aren't they? Because you've been taught how to use your feet, your hands, in a way where you can kill someone so easy.
For absolute sure, being there myself, so it got NFA'd, and it was outside of a nightclub, and I only hit him twice. It wasn't for the CCTV. I would have been knackered, it showed the whole thing. But when I was at court, what they will do, they'll bring sports psychologists in to help the attack, and they'll be able to basically say what technique you used, what timing you used, how many pounds worth of pressure. They've got you unless you've got that legitimate reason, you ain't talking your way out of that and knows your solicitor because the proof's in the pudding,
Well, the doors, Cal, years ago, you could have a bit of a fight because you had to be a fighter to wet the doors in the 80s. You had to be a fighter. You couldn't go on the door and go, I can't fight. You had to be to put people out. Now, they're just like college students. They haven't got a clue about fighting. They haven't got a clue. They've got kids on the door who haven't got getting hurt every day of the week because they're not fighters. They don't know mixed martial arts. They don't know boxing. They don't know any skill whatsoever. So they're getting knocked out by left, right, and centre people. Not even. Maybe they should have to go in the ring and prove they can fight before they get a job on the door. Maybe with the head guards on and stuff. But it's no use to stand on the door. It's like being there, like being in a racing car and not being able to drive it, isn't it? Or working at Tesco's and I can't use the till. You need to be able to do the job. The job is to stop fights, talk your way out of the fights, stop the fights. But if they come, you've got to get. What I used to do was I used to grab them in the headlocks like that and hold them, stop it being an idiot, and take them out with the minimum amount of forces you can. But sometimes you have to fight when there's 5 or 6 people throwing punches at you. But if you don't fight back, you're going to get killed. So if you can't fight, you're on the door, you're going to get beat up.
Absolutely, and I'm going through the SIA badge as we speak because I'm going to do this, and I'm going into close protection. And what they're teaching on this course for restraints, Brian, your eyes would water. I can't. I've got what the teaching is absolutely really, really bad. And my mind, when I've got a big mouth and I say something I don't like, especially I've been through too much to swallow crap that people are trying to teach us that's not going to work, And I'm saying to these guys, this isn't going to work. Let me show you why. No. The SIA have said, we have to teach you these basic things, but whatever you want to use out there, that's up to you. But you've got to pass this unit, to pass this course. So do this. I mean, a guy your size, right, grabs my arm, right? They're teaching you just to pull the arm away and get out of it. That's not going to happen.
They're going to grab you and pulling you. They're going to keep coming back and grabbing you and pulling you. So you've got to put their arm at the back and take them out and put them out the door. Simple as that. You can't argue with some people, especially people when they're drunk. They'll come back the next day. I've had loads where I've put them out, never hit them. I've choked them out a little bit, and I've picked them up in the end, frightened them, shook them, put them out, and they've come back. Hey, I'm sorry about yesterday, big fella. But I'll say, come and have a look at this on the camera because it's on camera. They go, yeah, I'm so embarrassed. But like the kids are the same now, aren't they? They're getting into fights, but they're taking knives now. Totally different when we were in the door. When we used to wear them and go out, I was like, Carl, you're on the field. Whoever wins, knock out, shake hands, forgot about. Now, come round your house, 20-handed, put the windows through, petrol bomb your cars. They're waiting for you in the street, 20-handed with knives and bloody baseball bats. There's no such thing as a proper fight now, like the old days. And they'd have a fight like the old days, and it was forgot about it. Water under the duck's back and water under the bridge type of thing. So now it's just like, I'll get him back and I'll get me machete, like you said earlier on. So when did you start training the kids then and people?
Right. So like I say, I started at 27, done years and years and years, like at the class and done these things. And then I just went my own way. So I opened the class up at Temple Park, which was the local swimming pool, but that's all took away now. So I went and got some classes. And then what I've started to realize, I had one at Brinkburn Community Centre as well. But what I've started to realize, Brian, is Jeet Kune is not for everybody. It's not the traditional martial art where you've got to, there's got to be a certain kind of mindset and a certain kind of person.
Harder to train is it harder to train that what you do than it would be karate or something or judo?
Absolutely, because it's so simple. But to learn simplicity, you've got to go through complication.
Right.
So in a normal scenario where you learn to throw a jab, we've got a jab from 5 different styles. So you ultimately end up, every technique is a hybrid of just for economy of motion, maximum effect with minimum effort, and it's all about, in a way, it's all working on the counter attack. So it's
this, Carl, is that a myth or is it true? The 1-inch punch, did that really, what could he hit them that hard with that 1-inch punch? Was it just the cameras that Bruce Lee?
right. Well, I'm trained in, and I can do the 1-inch punch. And to be honest with you, mate, it can just kill you stone dead. It's not a myth. I've trained in it for years, and I'm not about training in something that's never going to work. But what I would use that for, if I had to use that, I would aim for the heart, and I would use it in grappling range.
Yeah.
So if he's coming in trying grappling in my hands, and I've got 1 inch away from my body, and it's clear, I'm going to fire it, and I guarantee, mate, it's going to stop him. I do it through the yellow pages, and enemy students, they're probably on watching. Any of them will just say they just go flying, you know, and that's what, without the yellow pages, can you imagine the damage?
Yeah, be like probably if you had a gun shot at you and you had a bulletproof vest on, it wouldn't do nothing. But if you had no bulletproof vest, it'd go straight through, wouldn't it? Yeah, I know what you're saying. And another one, when I taught the box, people throw the punch all the way through. What I taught is when you throw, you stop just as you hit the chin. You stop about half inch past it, and all that generate all that power. You snap it through, and that's what knocks them out. And it's the speed of the punches, not the big windmills, because you can see them coming, you can move. So if you can't see a punch, it's like the bullet you can't see, it kills you. So if you can't see a punch and it hits you, it's 9 times out of 10 you're going to go down because you've been caught unaware how. But another thing I was going to ask you, Carl, did Bruce Lee die of the pill he took, aspirin? Because I had a friend who took an aspirin and he nearly died of an aspirin. What had happened, it got stuck in his esophagus, it bent right through his esophagus and nearly killed him. So is that just a myth that about the aspirin? Or don't you know?
This is what I believe, right? When he hurt his back, he thought he was never going to walk again and all the rest of it. Obviously, he got himself back up and fixed himself. Now, he could either go down the painkiller route that was going to kill him in any way,
right?
Yeah, or he could either go down the route of dubious substances.
Yeah,
right. This is what I believe, and you can slag us for it. And I know I'm going to get
raped to death for this one. That's what the show's about, mate. It sounds interesting. It does. It sounds, because I have to take meds, but I've come off them now because I was Nurofen, and in the end, they don't work to me. So what I do, I just block it out. Now with my hands killing me, it's throbbing like a cartoon, and my side's throbbing. But I've learned to blank it out, completely blank it out now. So go on, I know what you're going to say now.
So I think that there had been an aneurysm in his brain from birth. That's what I believe.
Right.
So he's went through all of these things. I mean, it was the 60s, man. He was a movie star.
Yeah,
you know. Yeah. So I believe that all of these things. Now, don't forget, just before he died, he was making films. He was still training 9 hours a day. Right. Yeah. His skin was like velvet. You know, he was training on pig blood and all sorts of things. Right. So you think of the fatigue he was suffering. Yeah. And then he's went with a headache, you know, and then I think that this painkiller has just triggered some chemical reaction in his brain for the aneurysm. You know, that's what there's no dark ninjas come for him. There's no, you know, the curse of the Lee family. I think it was just totally medical, and I truly believe that that's the way it's went.
I watched a program that was some type of handshake. I don't know if you've watched it, where they squish your hand in a certain way, and they said he had that the handshake of death or something it was called. And I think it's I think it's made up, but that's what they're saying was one of the other myths. But with somebody like that, a massive name like him, it's always going to be conspiracy theories, isn't there?
All sorts. I mean, there was all sorts going on, you know, and they blamed the triads, they blamed this and that, but people don't know that before Bruce Lee left Hong Kong, he was a leader of a gang himself, a street gang, and he was also an accomplished boxer.
Didn't know that.
Yeah, and he was always in the fight, and he had to move because he got into a fight with some high-ranking government official over there, and it was his nephew, and Bruce knocked the hell out of him. So obviously he was going to get police and whatever. So that's why his dad shifted him to Hong Kong, to America. He'd had enough of the trouble. There's nothing he could have done with him.
Something rings a bell there, because do you remember David Carradine when he played Kung Fu?
Yes.
In the Kung Fu series, he had to get out. He was in a fish. Yeah, they killed the official and were after him, and he had to go to America, didn't he? And they sent Chinese to get him in America, and it was. I used to love that series, walking across the desert and that. And I used to learn bits of Kung Fu when I was a kid, and I used to pretend I was a Kung Fu expert, and I used to say I used to go up my nana's, And they say, "Where are you going?" I said, "Oh, I'm getting taught kung fu." And it lasted for about 6 months. Everyone thought I was tough, and then somebody punched me in the nose, and I got beat up, and then that came out the window. Then I wasn't a kung fu expert, so they used to call me Hong Kong Fu. There was a cartoon years ago. They used to call me Hong Kong the kids in Artful. And it lasted. I wasn't trained like you, Carl. I just only went twice to this good karate thing. I was pretending I was going every week, so all the kids were scared of me in the area. They got filled in. But my favourite film is The Karate Kid, by the way, because Daniel Loose. I love it. It's my favourite film. Because as a kid, I had asthma, dyslexia, so I was always alone on my own. So I was like him a bit. So that's my favourite film, The Karate Kid, as growing up as a kid. I like the Rocky films. I wanted to be like Rocky. Like the fighting, I wanted to be. We were kids like yourself, Carl. We grew up in that era in the 80s and 70s and 80s where it was all bodybuilding. There was Arnold Schwarzenegger, there was a Hulk, there's TV series, there was all them films that you'd see, Rocky, marvelous things to watch. So what you say is right. Now there's nothing like that. There's no heroes no more like there was then. There were all these top films, and he was another great one. Was what do you call them? The beard, with 7 times.
Chuck Norris.
Chuck Norris, yeah, Chuck Norris, he was brilliant. And all them type of people, they were like, well, you want to be like them, but kids aren't like that now. It's all like pop bands and, like people, Big Brother things and all crappy things to look at. Now, we would look at that as kids and wouldn't watch that. We liked the old war films and things like that and cowboy and Indian films, and we'd be out all day playing. 2 in 3 kids are overweight now because they don't go outside and play. They're all on these computers, Carl, and we were kids, we were out all day. When your mum and dad couldn't get you in.
No, not at all. We were out, we were climbing trees, we were doing all of that, BMXs, and you went to all the same thing yourself. There was no, and I'm glad there wasn't, because there's a lot of people that even these days, they want to do this and that. That's fair play, but again, it's made people more introverted. They'd rather sit on a computer than go out and actually do things. It's quite easy to sit in front of a keyboard and be anything you want to be, and do anything. You can spout a good line of crap and make people, believe what you're saying or whatever. But that's all good until you get found out, and then it's like, oh well, hold on a second, this guy's not, this and that, or blah blah blah. But I think that until you go out and do it now. If you hadn't have gone back to what you said, if you hadn't have pretended to go to be Hong Kong Fu and said you were going to Kung Fu, can you see how that was still leading up to what you were going to become?
Yeah. You want to be that.
Yeah, the desire, to do it. And
so what's like Samson and Hercules, and you go, I would love to be that strong, and I got that strong. It was crazy how I'd come, but I didn't just get it. People go, I took loads of steroids. Yeah, I took steroids, but I didn't take. I still would have been massively strong if I didn't take them. But
you
only got that big because sorry. No, I'm still 20 stone down. I don't take nothing, and I've been in hospital for being 40 months ill, and I'm still nearly 20 stone. I still train every day now. I train twice a day, 6 days a week, but I'm not training heavy, Carl. But I'm putting the stress on the muscle by maybe using a 5 key weight, but doing it dead slow, maybe 3 sets of 20. I'm still getting that burn, and the muscle doesn't know that it's a lightweight. It just knows the stress on there. So you don't need to have big weights to get big. I've seen Paul Delap, the best bodybuilder of all, use 20 key dumbbells, and he had 23 inch arms. So a lot of it is genetics, but like you said, you've got to put in the hand. You can't just be Kung Fu expert overnight. You can't just be Mr. Olympia. You can't just be. You put thousands and thousands and thousands of hours in and work done. You're training millions of reps and stuff to get that physique. People think you just get it overnight.
It's like you say, it's dedication. It's blood, snot, sweat, tears. It's right down to, even if you don't feel like moving, you've got to get up and do it again. And part of what made me was when we were sparring. I was constantly getting smashed to bits for about 3 years, 3 times a week, fighting this guy. At full contact. But it made us. It didn't beat us, and it wasn't him I was trying to beat. It was myself. And once I realised that,
you do. I was so free. I always say this to fighters as well. I was talking to quite a few fighters. Big Joe Egan, great guy. Matt Legg, pro boxer, I talked to him. He stayed the other way. And Norman Buckland, people like that. It was when you're fighting. Say, for instance, me and you were on the dawn, the kicks off, the bell goes, or whatever. The thingy to the DJ, Dorman, we run it and grab someone. That's easy. But when somebody says, right, Carl, I want to fight in 6 weeks on the field, it's a totally different ballgame, isn't it? You're fighting someone who's never been beat. You're fighting someone the same caliber as you, and and you lay in bed, and you go, you tell all your friends, I'm going to easy win this, I'm going to easy. Then when you go to bed on your own, you go, what if I get beat? Everyone has sat down with the doubt. What if I get beat? What if this happens? What if that happens? If you don't have that, you tell lies, aren't you? Because you know for a fact you go in there with someone who's never been beat. So they're the hardest fight for me. When you've got to fight, you still. What Costamata had it perfectly. Tyson said the hero still feels the same as the coward, but it's what the coward does makes him a coward, and the hero does makes him a hero. And but they both have the same fear. But Mike Tyson said every fight he went to, he was terrified in case he got killed.
He was scared. He didn't show it. He looked as if he was, a psychopathic murderer walking into that ring. But he was scared every single. Still, even all the training, and that taught me about fear and adrenaline control. Because I remember walking up to the gym thinking, he's in there, I'm going to get another beating, and the adrenaline would go. I didn't want to walk through the doors and even step on the mat, but I did. And that's the point of it. Because if I hadn't have done that, I wouldn't be real in what I do. I would still be in this, this classical mess, and look, I've got so many stripes on my belt, and that does not matter, not one iota. And
when I'd go for fights, I'd always fight somebody who was the best in the city. Went to fight, well, mention the name, and fight these people, and I beat them. Well, some fights you'd have, and you think, it's going to be hard here. I've knocked them out one punch, and then I've had a fight with somebody 12 stone, struggled with somebody 12 stone, he's jumping all over and I can't grab him. But what I used to do is somebody that type of way, I'd get him in the pub there because they could only back up so far and there's a wall, like that, or I'd get him in the toilet so he's got no chance of getting away from me then. So you've got to use your head. Lee Duffy was going to have, we were going to have the second fight, and Lee was going to wait till I did heavy legs. You've done your legs, you can hardly walk when you squatted. And when I come out the gym, he was going to have a go. So your legs are like bam behind when you squat really heavy and you train that. So that was one of his. So he was a clever fighter. He was always thinking that way, how can I beat someone? And yeah, but it's no good all that fighting, is it? It's good to protect yourself. But getting into fights now, as you know, Carl, every single pub, every car nearly, everywhere you go there's a camera. You just can't get away with it because the camera gets you caught. You say it wasn't me. Well, use the camera evidence. You just can't get away with it no more. But to do this sport, what you're trying to say to people is, like I tell people, do the bodybuilding, do the stuff, do the training. If somebody comes looking for you and they throw a punch at you, you've got to protect yourself, counter punch them, and you'll get off with it. But if you go out there looking for trouble, this day and age, you're going to get caught with the police, you're going to get nicked, you're going to go to jail for a long time because GBH, or if you kill someone like you said, Carl, it's so easy when you learn to box and learn to fight to knock someone out and you can kill someone, but it's just not worth it because you go to jail 5 years or something, you're in there for 2.5 years, and then you come out, you go to get a job. There's 1,000 people to apply for the job. You could be the cleverest person in that room because you've got a criminal record. The dodgiest person will get the job because he's trustworthy, hasn't been in trouble.
Absolutely. The consequences can be devastating for the rest of your life. Even if you've got to go in and do 3 months, it's still there, and you can't explain that. How can you sit down to an interview and say, well, I hit him and I killed him? I got a few months for that. The interviewer's going to think, I can't have you here because I can't settle, I can't relax around you, I can't, we kind of settle you into the team. And as soon as that people find out, they're not going to want to know you because people are good at curiosity. They want to know things and they're good at, right, well, these crime programs, but how many of them actually sat down on the table and met one and never knew it?
Yeah. Because frightening, isn't it, for someone like me and you, we've water for ducks back because we've been there, we've beaten people, have been locked up and with murderers and everything. But most of the people who kill someone, it's just spontaneous, isn't it? Quickly, they'll stab someone. And then we had the lad on here the other week from up your way, not far from you, and he got 99 years for killed someone with a bottle, and he got it done for a stab, and he got 99 years. Really good lad, but he's changed his life around. So what we're saying here, Carl, anyone can change. Look at me. I used to be into the rammed response every other week of getting licked for this and getting licked for that. I changed my life around through God. I'm helping people. We've saved 45 people from committing suicide. We've got thousands in the gym. We've got thousands on diets, and we've saved thousands of people around the world. We've got up to nearly 18,000 people on our webpage, and we've also got on 15,000 on our YouTube on the Facebook pages, and we're just helping people, Carl, and it's great because people go, thanks for helping me, and I've got better, and you just, that feeling, Carl, is better than somebody saying, well, I had come a couple of months ago, suicidal, going to jump in the river, sat him down, 5 hours later, he's gone home, phoned us up, went, oh, thank you, I wouldn't have been here today for you. But I said, yeah, but you've got your kids, you've got this, you've got, and I talked him round, And that feeling would be better. Somebody said, do you want £1 million, or do you want that feeling what you've just saved that man's life? I'd rather have the feeling of saving someone than having £1 million off someone. It's just a great feeling as you do yourself. When you're helping these kids and achieving something, Carl, and you're doing something good for the community.
You can't put a price on that. I love a person who I start teaching, you know, and I haven't got much confidence. And, you know, my last student is coming up year 6 for him. And he was terrible, to be honest with you, to be a fighter, you know. And we started training, and I mean, man, now, wow, he's just exploding all over the place. He's absolutely unreal, you know. And to see that progression in someone, and see, I'm not taking credit for that, because all I can do with the Jeet Kune Do is give them a template, and it's up to them to take from that and incorporate it into them. If it's going to work, fair enough. If not, why not? Let's look at it. Let's see how we can make it work, right? Well, we'll throw that away and try another approach. But in order to do that, you've got to strip away your self-ignorance, because if ego takes over, you become something. The day that you wake up and become complacent, it's time to stop, because you're no longer a fighter. You've just become this egotistical thing that's, you know, or, you know, to show or to look better, be cool in front of your friends. That's not the name of the game. And even when you get to such a high standard where you can you know, wheel things out and see things that other people can't see, because you've got that insight as well, because of telegraphing and things like that. People telegraph before they do things, even micro expressions and things, you know. All these little things, you know, all of these I've learned through telegraphing, through martial arts. And then you get up there and you can intercept emotion. You can feel when people are sort of turn, you know, and little things like that. Now, that's not going to come overnight. You've got to train, you've got to meditate, you've got to study hard in order to be. And what I ask of students is, you've got to put the time in. There's a few times I've said this before. I've said, right, if you're not prepared to put the time in, right, and you're not prepared to work hard at it, right, and I've showed them the Taxman, the McIntyre one, right? How the hell would you expect to deal with something like this? Imagine this guy, you're in trouble, and he's knocking on your door. What the hell are you going to do? Are you going to walk out? Now, I'm not necessarily meaning combat here. They wouldn't even have confidence to walk out and try and diffuse the situation in the first place. So the only option they've got is cowering under the table. You're coming through the door, you know, I mean, you know, brass tacks, being hypothetical, but would you respect someone if they answered the door with, I'm sorry, how can I sort this out? I didn't mean to do it.
Well,
or
somebody comes out and just says, well, sorry last night, or I did that, I was wrong. Can I apologise? Can I pay for the window I smashed? I went out and I'd say, brilliant, shake their hand, and that's it done. I'd rather somebody come and meet me, because I remember Lee used to say, I can empty a pub like that. And I said, well, I can fill it like that, Lee. I'd rather fill it than empty it, because people can approach me like they can say, look, Brad, this has happened, that's happened, can you help me? Of course I can. And I'll go and speak to 2 different people and help them and diffuse the situation. That's what I'd rather do, because all that, you live longer as well, because people like you, because you're helping people as well. But when you're just punching people for no reason, I only used to tax drug dealers, young lads my own age, 20-odd-year-old, whatever people. Never went in a house where there was kids or women. It was just drug dealers. Most of it was like selling heroin. I'd take money off them. So it was like, to me, it was a good thing I was doing. But the things you get, it's like Bruce Lee, the stories about him, it's like me, the taxman, who used to put kids in freezers. He used to do this. It's mad stories that come out done, and I used to do this. But you never, Jesus Christ couldn't say everyone. You can't get everyone to like it. Even Jesus Christ couldn't do it, and he was the greatest man that ever lived. So if he can't get everyone to like him, who man get everyone? But as long as Duffy used to say to me, as long as the good people are speaking good about you, Carl, it doesn't matter what the rubbish ones are talking. As long as the good people are talking good about you, but you've got a problem when the good people are calling you.
As long as you know the truth about yourself, and the people you've got around you love you and trust you and know what you're about, everybody else can go and jump, because I'm not here to impress. Even I've got nothing to prove to myself, let alone anybody else. I'm not a performing monkey that's going to jump through hoops for people and this and that, you know. I'm just going to live my life. There's no, if it's good for some people, it might be bad for others, but I'm not going to happily walk into situations where I could be killed or could be locked up, or just to save someone else's ass. I'm not going to mention his name, but I had a friend a few months ago who was sleeping with a married woman. The husband found out, and he was like, "Oh, Carl, he's hard as nails," and blah blah blah. And my words were, "Do you rip?" You know, I don't condone that at all, and I'm certainly not going to protect you because you've been doing that. You've got kids. You've ruined the family here, so you just crack on and do it. You know, and I've never spoken to him since. I don't know what he's doing now. I don't want to know what happened. I don't really care. But there was another one who just got right. I need to get rid of you because you're just no good for my well-being. My own.
Down, and they're the people you can go to jail for. And every time I went to jail, it was never for me, for someone else. It was always who was there. Well, there was Brad Cotton was there. Who was there? Brad Cotton. Nobody else forgets everyone else. You only remember me because of the size, you know I am. And you stuck that stigma forever when you get it. That's another thing, become a top fighter. You've got people coming looking for you. You've got to be ready to fight. You know, I've got people now when I'll fight them. Yeah, they might, of course they can fight me now because I've been in a wheelchair for 14 months. You know what I mean? But that's tough at the minute. They said now 2 years ago, Carl, they never said boo. But I'll fight them and all that. So what happens when I get better though?
Absolutely. You know, you never know what's around the corner. You never know what's going to happen. You know, the cards are dealt until you turn them over, but don't know what's going on.
I mean, when they'll chop me up, you'd seen in a documentary, no one would have got that house alive, and I did. So I think God's definitely saved me for a purpose. 6 people shot at me at Redcar, they all missed. The van behind's all got shot with bullets. So they're divine interventions for me because I shouldn't be here. And I am here and I'm helping people, doing a good thing, same as you helping people. And I think it's the greatest feeling if you've got some scared kid and you help them to achieve something. I had one kid, he stayed at my house for 15 months. He got in a fight with the bloke next door, and his mum and his dad lived around the corner. I let him stay here. So the police let him stay here. And he lived there for, I think, 18 months, I think he stayed. And then he was only about 15. Then I was in a shop getting some shopping. I see this big lad looking at me. And so I started putting my chin down, and in case he threw a shot at me, I thought he's going to have a go at me. Don't you remember me? He said. He said, I'm Carl. I'm sorry, I'm Chrissy. I went, Chrissy, you were still at the bar? He went, yeah. He said, I did what you said to me because he was only about 25. He was massive. He's in the army now. He was a plumber. So I taught him to stop robbing and stop taking drugs and all that. He's in the army, he's married, he's got a house, got a daughter and everything. So it's great to see that achievement just because that little bit of knowledge I've given him put them on the straight and narrow. I think a lot of kids need people like yourself and people like Bram and myself. Some people say like the broken ones are the chosen ones, Jesus says. And I think once you've been a sinner, you've done daft things in your past, you realise it's wrong. And you change your life around, you think, I want to help kids today, I want to help people. I don't want kids to follow me. In the training, like you do marvellous, help people in the training, but not training to go out and beat people up, training to get the mindset. Because like you said, everything is in here, it's a computer, your brain. If that says something wrong, then it will be wrong. If you start going, I'm going to have a panic attack, I'm going to have a panic attack, you will have a panic attack because your brain's telling your body to have it. So you set yourself up where you're thinking, oh, that happened to me as a kid, and oh, I'm bad, and this and that. And then if you're thinking about that same thing every day, you're going to be back today, the next day, the next day, the next day. So you've got to stop thinking about the past if it's making you ill. Forget about that bit in the past, cut that bit out and just throw it away. Emma does this, she'll take it out of my head, she'll go take it out of your head, put it in my pocket, zip it up, it's gone. It sounds mad, but it works. But you can't keep thinking about things that's hurting you in the past, Carl, because they're going to keep hurting you today and tomorrow and the next day. You're never going to get better. So you need to stop thinking about the past and go get a dog, go for a walk, get a job, train with Cal, train with you, do the training, get yourself motivated. Because once you're training, you produce endorphins, your brain sets up lights, and you feel great. And the great thing about that is it costs nothing. There's no come down like you do on normal drugs, and you just feel great, don't you, Cal?
It's an amazing feeling. I like that wetsuit feeling, you know, when you've trained hard and it feels like you've got this wetsuit on and everything's tight, you know, and then you know you go back and you drink your milk and you chill out and you wake up next day and you're a little bit achy and you think, right, that's okay for another few days. I can put the weights down this day, I can go on the bag that day, or I can do whatever. There's so much to do in what you do and keep your skills sharp. If it's possible, Brian.
Carl, I think a lot of people, the only person who can do your head in is yourself. He said, she said, he said, she said. Forget what they fucking say. Doesn't matter what they say. Forget it. Just, you're a big fat thing, you, Brian. Okay, thank you. Next one. You go bald, you, Brian. fair do. I'm nearly 58. You know what I mean? You always get somebody saying something stupid, but if you start taking them on, going, oh, he said I'm bald, he said I'm fat, he said, oh, 2 teeth in the bottom are missing. What? All them fights about I've lost 2 teeth. I'm over the moon with that.
That'll do. Yes, for absolutely sure. You know, like I say, I've never really been the one for sort of battling on the streets. I've only used Jeet Kune twice in my entire life, and if I never use it again, I'll be a happy man. Because to be honest with you, what I did, I still feel guilty now.
Yeah,
I really do. You know, for what I did. You know, but it had to be done. I was fighting for my life. You know.
Yeah.
So, but like I say, if I never ever have to use it again, it means that my communication skills have went way up because I've got there. I'm able to get them straight away. You know, where like
when
you said,
when you're young and you've got all that testing, you fucking fight you. Who you looking at? Blah, blah, blah. You don't. But when you're old, you think he's only looking at you. What's and you think, all right, what I do now, I'll go in the pub and go, hey lads, why you look well, son, look like you train, don't you? And you diffuses the situation. They're all big lads, but look tough. And you go, yeah. I said, I wish I was still like you young lads. I'm an old man now, and the red thing was it. And you make them feel dead relaxed, don't you? But if you can start walking in, going, "Oh, you're looking at them, you," and you're going to get a good eye on you. And you can't do that either, Cal. You can't fight now when I'm like 58 coming up. You can't fight now like you were 26 or 25. It's impossible because you come to the age where you've just got to say, "Not for me no more. No. I can't do it because I haven't got the tools to do it. I haven't got the skills to do it no more. You haven't got the speed. You haven't got the strength because you've had it. You've got, like John Black said to me, you've got nothing to prove. Eddie Buick says, Stephen says, all them say, what have you got to prove? You beat everyone in your era. You were the best at your area. So what's it to prove now? You've done that. So what you're doing now, helping people, is a much better thing than like you're doing. You feel good. So how many days a week do you train the kids then on people?
Well, like I say, like I said in the text, I'm not teaching class at the moment. I'm still doing private tuition. I'm going through this SIA things. But I used to do it 3 times a week. I used to demand 3 times a week because
how many would you have class then, Cal, for instance? How many would you? Are they all in the same class, girls with boys, or do you have 2 boys on their own? Or
no, all mixed because you can't differentiate. A street fight has no recognition of gender, race, height, age, nothing. You know, someone's going to go at you. They're just going to go. There's no at that point now where they're thinking, right, I'm off. There's nothing's going to stop us in the way you go. So you can't even train. You can train all you want, but you can't train for a realistic situation because each one is individual. It's unique to its own. You know, it's own form, the way it happens. You know, not everyone's going to punch you the same. Not everyone's going to come at you. You know, it's not all. Everyone's always carbon copy. But what you can do is train to have the right tool for the right job with the right timing, rather than say you're just a grappler and you get in trouble. You're not going to grapple one bloke in a pub where 3 of his mates are there because you can only grapple one bloke at a time. So that's where grappling fails. Now, if you're a boxer, you could fight 3, but is it really possible outside a movie in a way? You know, these 3 guys who are all skilled and drunk, you're going to be very lucky if you can float. There is people out there, don't get us wrong, there is people out there who are very skilled and who can do it. But the average Joe, the brass tacks, to fight 3 people, man, I don't really think so. You know, in a way. So you've got to face reality. Otherwise, you can train and do what you want, but you're still going to run in blind and you could get seriously hurt just because your head's full of crap that's just not really going to happen. You've got to be realistic here, and you've got to think about if you get in an altercation and you've got one guy you don't know where his 2 mates are, or you don't know who he's with, or you don't even know who he is. He could be, you know, some big gangster's son, and then you're in trouble. You know, you're marshalling, you're boxing. It's not going to save you there, is it? You know what I mean? So you know these little things, or you could be a copper's son. It's just these scenarios that you get in. So to me, it's about reading the situation first and always asking myself, you know, I really don't want to get into this combat. If I have to, and I'm cornered or whatever, I'm not going to stop. I'm not going to back down. I'm going to have to do it. But it's not first thought, and it shouldn't be anyone's first thought, because like you said, it ruins lives and puts you in jail, and then you've got to live with guilt, you know. And what happens when you get out and then you see these kids walking around town, you're thinking, I've killed his dad, oh my god. And that's if you're a human being, that's going to affect you, because you've got to be a psychopath not to feel anything like that, you know. And A fighting heart is different than a psychopathic crazy man's heart.
Yeah.
It's bigger, more compassion.
Yeah, of course. And the thing is, with someone who's a fighter and got a big heart and can fight, if they hurt someone accidentally or they're thinking something, they'll go straight around. I've had fights with people in pubs. I've thrown a jab on one, the other one's coming with it, and it's been the wrong lad of it. I thought he's part of the gang, like you've just said. And I've bust somebody's jaw or something, and I'm like, oh shit. I've gone round, I've given him a couple of grand, and I've said, look, I didn't mean that. I thought you were with them, and but you feel horrible, don't you? You do feel guilty, you feel terrible, but it happens though in life, doesn't it? You're on the door. What a lot of people do, and I notice is I'm really good. It's the ones with the big mouths who usually do. The worst for me was when I used to work at Redcar. You'd be a 52-seater bus with all the Geordies on, off from there. Would come down to the Redcar races, and they're all pissed all out all day from 8 o'clock in the morning drinking. They're all wanting to fight, and the next minute you're getting in a fight. There's 52 people on a bus trying to fight you or something, but usually it's the little gobshite at the front. The other two behind them are the fighters, but the one at the front's a mouthpiece, and it always gets them in trouble. But it's them two here are the fighters usually. But another thing that I try to do, Carl, people can only throw. Most people can only. I think about 97% of people can throw a right hand. That's it. Not many people can throw a left hook. So what they do is they put the left foot forward, they stand on it, and they try to set themselves up to throw right. So all you do is cross over them, square them off, and they go, and then they start trying to push them forward again. You can see what they're going to do. Then what I do, I'll grab them by the back of the head here, put my leg around the back of them, and throw them on the floor, and just then sit on them like with my knee and say, behave, and shout at them and actually diffuse the situation. But you get people just knocking them out. When you're a big lad and you hit somebody who's about 12 stone, you're taking a liberty then. It's a liberty. You can just smother them with your strength, can't you, put them out. But when you see these dormants, some of them do take liberties with young kids.
For absolute sure. I mean, it's just like you said, it's the Telegraph, and they show you what they're going to do, especially if they're drunk. It's very exaggerated what they're going to do before they do it, and you can just read them like a book, Yeah. Absolutely. And then you've got the skills, you square them up, you wait till he moves, and then to me, in Jeet Kune, we only move one way forward. There's no, if we're going to move to the side, it's to set a kick up to the leg, to take the knee out. But I'm not going to start being a Van Damme and trying to kick people in the head in the street, because it can be seen coming a mile away. You're not just going to give your own what you're going to do away. And what I always try and stress to my students: don't put your hands up until the last moment, because if you put your hands up, you're showing them what you are, and he's going to up his game, because he's believing that you haven't got any skills because your hands are by your side in the invisible stance that they can't see. And then you move, and then you go into stance. But if you put your hands up first, you've just raised the stakes higher, because you've showed them that you've got some skills.
Also, Carl, on camera, you're the first one to put your hands up, so you're the aggressor straight away. If the jury looks at that, and so you put your hands up the throat, so he defended himself because you put your hands up.
Absolutely, absolutely, Brian.
About 3 minutes left, mate. Anything you want to say to kids out there with knives and stuff, Carl?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
Do yourselves a favour, please. Put them down. Just put them down. Get into the boxing gym. Go and do something constructive that's going to save your life rather than ruin it, because it will. And you could stab someone and get away with it, and the cops won't find out. But can you live with it? That's my question. Can you live with it?
Well, okay, we'll leave it there, mate. We've done over an hour. I'll get this off. I don't know how to do it. Emma!
It's been good, Brian. Nice one. We must do it again, because I haven't got through all the questions I wanted to ask, so we're going to need another one soon.
We'll do another one about a month's time, mate. We'll get all your stuff together, but that's fantastic. People over the moon, aren't they?
Yeah.
Brilliant, mate. Absolutely. Mate. I'll keep in contact with you, Carl.
Right, absolutely. Thanks, Brian. Nice one.
You're welcome. God bless, brother. Love you to bits. Do take care.